In this video, I'm going to go over other common frustrations in Microsoft Excel, in particular using the fill handle. If you're unsure what the fill handle is in Microsoft Excel, if you click on any cell inside your spreadsheet, you'll notice that it puts a black border around that cell, and in the bottom right hand corner of that black border, you'll see a very small black little box. This is the fill handle. Before we start using the fill handle, it's important you understand that there's three main cursors when using Microsoft Excel. The first cursor is this one that you see now. It's a white cross, and we call this the select cursor. If I move my white cross over to the cell that's been selected and place it on the border of that cell, you'll see that it turns into this cursor. This is called the move cursor, and this will simply allow you to move that cell. There's also a third cursor, and that occurs when you move your cross or your cursor over to the very bottom right of that cell that's selected, i.e. if you move your cursor over the fill handle, you'll see that it turns to this cursor, and that's the fill handle cursor. So if we want to select cells, we make sure that we've got the white cursor. If we want to move cells, we make sure we've got the move cursor. And if we want to use the fill handle, we make sure we've got the fill handle cursor. So, what is the fill handle? What does it do? Well, spreadsheets are very clever. Now, if I type the number 1 into a cell, and then I select that cell, so again, white cursor, click once to select. So I've now selected the cell. If I then move my cursor over to the fill handle and drag that down, it realises that there is a pattern of number 1s, so it will put lots of number 1s on my sheet. If I drag that fill handle across, again it will put more 1s on my sheet. However, if I type a pattern of numbers, so for example I write the number 1 and then 2, and then I select that pattern, what I mean by that is select both the numbers. So white cursor, click and drag down to select both numbers. I've now selected a pattern. And because Microsoft Excel is quite clever, if I use the fill handle, now that I've selected a pattern and drag it down, it recognises that pattern, which is to add 1 each time, and it will automatically put those numbers in for me. Again, it works horizontally as well. So if I select the pattern horizontally, drag the fill handle across, you can see that it fills in the blanks for me. What we do to demonstrate this better is, let's say for example I want to create a times table square. What I might want to do here is type the numbers 1, 2, 2, 4. I've now got all the numbers that I need to create a times table square. If I select all 4 of these numbers, I have 2 lots of patterns. A pattern going horizontally, 1, 2, 2, 4, and a pattern going vertically, 1, 2, 2, 4. If I first of all drag this fill handle across, you notice on the top row it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because the pattern is to add 1 each time. And on the second row it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. because the pattern was to add 2 each time. Now what I've got here is I've got a range of patterns ranging from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 3 to 6, all the way to 12 to 24. So I've actually got my 12 times table here. If I drag the fill handle down, I've now created a times table square very easily. Not only can the fill handle copy numbers and patterns within numbers, but it can also do things like the days of the week. So if I put Monday, Tuesday, and select that pattern, and then drag the fill handle across, it'll recognise that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my pattern. I can actually do it with abbreviated dates as well, so 1, 2, and drag those across. I can do it with months, so Jan, Feb, drag those across. Again, it works in a descending. Both the days and the months work in a descending vertical fill handle as well. One of the most useful ones that I've found is typing in times. So for example, for parents' evening, I might have 3:30, and then my next appointment is at 3:35. And rather than keep writing these numbers myself, because I've got a pattern of adding 5 minutes every time, select that pattern, drag the fill handle down, and now I've got my time slots for my parents' evening. So the fill handle is very useful, and obviously it's very useful when we come to writing formulas as well. Without going into too much detail of that, if I have the number 2 and the number 3, if I write a formula here to sum up those two numbers, like that, you can see that the value that appears in this cell is the number 5, because 2 and 3 is 5. And the formula that I've written here is J12 to K12 and sum those up. So basically sum means to add up any value that appears in J12 to any value that appears in K12. Now, if I have some more numbers here, for example 5 and 5, what I might want to do is write that formula again. However, with formulas, what I can do is I can use the fill handle once I've written one formula. What I mean by that is, again, it will recognise the pattern. It will say, this is J12 and this is K12. If I drag this fill handle down, what we'll need to change is the row number, because I'm currently on row 12. If I drag this fill handle down, then the next row will be row 13. So in this formula here, the letter will always need to stay the same, because I'm always referring to what's inside column J and column K. However, when I drag the fill handle down, the spreadsheet will automatically change this 12 to a 13 and this 12 to a 13. So let's watch. Drag the fill handle down. In this cell we have J12 to K12, and in this cell I have J13 to K13. So if I have a range of numbers here, and I want to always add them together, I simply get one formula, drag the fill handle down, and it will automatically figure out that, for example, in this cell, it needs to change it to row 18, but remain in columns J and K. In this cell, remain in columns J and K, but change the number to 17 here, and obviously in this one, change it to 16, etc. We call this using the fill handle with relative referencing, because the formula that's written in it is relative to the row or the column, because this works horizontally as well, that formula is written. So again, the fill handle will allow us to copy patterns, not only with numbers and words, but it will also allow us to copy using relative referencing formulas as well. So in this video, I've covered some other common frustrations with a particular focus on using the fill handle to copy patterns and for relative referencing.